Here's my 2 cents on Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man. Firstly, Hank is an incredible inventor whose breakthrough with what he deemed the Pym particle has allowed him to take up numerous monikers over the Marvel timeline. He's been Ant-Man, Giant Man, Goliath, Yellow Jacket, Wasp. He's even responsible for the creation of Ultron, who begat Vision, and Jocasta, who's often overlooked. At his core, Hank is a pacifist. He has no interest in violence. Using his inventions for crime fighting is something that S.H.I.E.L.D. wanted to exploit, and his lab assistant and love interest Janet Van Dyne encouraged him to do so. So much so that she eventually found her way into becoming the Wasp. Now, Hank has tried time and time again to leave the Avengers, but his friends keep pulling him back in because they needed him. And after being stuck in his Giant Man form for an extended period of time, Hank's mental state began to deteriorate. He didn't want to fight anymore, and he didn't want to see his friends putting their lives at risk either. So he sought a world with peaceful automaton robots to protect them all. He creates Ultron, but the AI grows out of his control and becomes sentient. They're able to stop Ultron, but he again takes a sabbatical. Upon returning, however, he suffers an accident during a lab experiment and inhales dangerous chemicals that cause an alteration to his personality. This is when the much disliked Yellow Jacket persona comes in. Under this identity, Hank is much more cocky, careless, and aggressive. This is who he thinks they want him to be. Loud, aggressive, first to react, sure of himself. But it's awful. As Yellow Jacket, Hank's mental state worsens, and he starts lashing out at his then wife Janet Van Dyne, and even continues to attack suspects after they surrender. Captain America suspends Hank from the Avengers pending a court-martial. This causes Hank to have a full mental breakdown. He starts constructing a plan to fake an Ultron attack to make it look like he stopped it. Janet stops him, and in the confrontation, he strikes her. This is a pivotal moment for Hank. He will never live this down. This ends the relationship that he has with Janet, and I don't blame her. Under the influences of chemical imbalances or not, he is no longer the man that she loved. Even though they are able to undo the effects of the lab accident, Hank's mental issues never recover. Pym suffers from borderline personality disorder, not multiple personality disorder like separate people living in his head or hearing multiple external voices in his head like schizophrenia, more like the manic depressive issues associated with bipolar disorder. However, borderline personality disorder affects more than just the individual's moods. It also affects their interpersonal relationships and self-image. Here are a few examples: dramatic emotional changes lasting from several hours to several days or weeks, impulsive, risky, and unsafe behavior, inappropriate anger, self-injury or thoughts of self-harm, chronic depression, distorted self-image, fear of abandonment, and unstable and intense relationships. Now, unlike bipolar disorder, which is usually genetic or a chemical imbalance, borderline personality disorder often stems from trauma, and in this case, prolonged exposure to stress on top of an already fragile mental state. And in the end, being a superhero cost Hank his sanity. I think the moral of the story is to not let others talk you out of your morals. Stand for what you believe in, and believe in yourself. I love all of you, including all of your faults. The same as I love Hank Pym, despite his faults. Until next time, enjoy yourselves.